Okay, so in the last video, we created our application folder. We created server.js and implemented this very simple code that is available from the Node.js website. And we created a package.json manifest file. So in this in this video or this section, I want to just take this a step further and be able to basically use the file system module to serve pages, HTML pages, rather than just including some text here to be displayed. Alright, so I'm going to just actually get rid of all of this except for the requirement of the HTTP module. So what we're going to do is require some other modules as well. Alright, so we want the URL module, so we're going to give it a variable of URL and set to require URL. Alright, next one is going to be the path module, so we can deal with file paths and such. So require path, and the last one will be the file system, so fs require fs. Alright, so those are our modules. Alright, next thing I want to do is I want to just create an array with the available MIME types. So I'm going to say variable MIME types is equal to HTML, and the MIME type for that will be text/HTML. And let's see, we'll do our images. So JPEG is image/JPEG. Okay, also JPG is going to be the same thing, image/JPEG. And we'll have PNG, which will be image/PNG. Let's see, JavaScript. And that's going to be text/JavaScript. And finally CSS, which will be text/CSS. Alright, so those are our MIME types. And we just want to put a semicolon there. And then just do a little comment here. Whoops. Alright, so now we want to do the create server function. Okay, we saw that with the other code that we wrote from the Node.js website. So we're going to do http://create server. Actually, this needs to be lowercase. So create server, and we're going to pass in a function, and then we're going to create a variable called URI, and we're going to set that to URL.parse, and we want to pass in the request URL, so req.url, and we want the path name. So that'll get the URI. Now we want the file name, so we're going to have a variable called file name and set that to path.join, and we're going to pass in process.cwd. What this process CWD does is it returns the current working directory of the process. And then we want to pass in the URI, but we want to make sure that it's not escaped. So we're going to use the unescape function and then just pass in the URI. Alright, so that should get the file name for us. And what I'm going to do at this point is make it so that it lets us know that it's loading the file or the URI. So let's just do a console log. And we'll just have it say loading, and then we'll just concatenate with a plus sign the URI. Alright, and then we're just going to create the stats variable. Alright, so what we want to do next is we want to we want to look for the file. For instance, if we go to /page.html, we need to look and see if that's actually there. So we're going to do a try catch block. So try catch. Alright, and the way we can do this is say stats equals fs.lstatsync. Yeah, I think that's it. And then pass in the file name. Alright. So basically, what we're saying here is to look for the file name. If it's not there, then do this, whatever we're going to put in here. And what we're going to do here is just send a 404 error. Okay, so we want to say res.writeHead, and we want to pass in 404, and then the content type of plain. Content type, and that's going to be text/plain. Alright, and then we'll just write we'll write 404 not found. Whoop. .404 not found, and then end. And return. Alright, so if it's not found, we'll send to 404. Now what we need to do is check and see if it's a file or a directory. Okay, so we want to go right under here. Okay, so to do this, we need an if statement. So we're going to say if stats.isFile, then what do we want to do? We want to get the MIME type. Alright, so we'll say variable MIME type is equal to MIME types so yeah, MIME types, and then path dot ext name for the extension, and pass in file name. Okay, and then we want to call the split method split at the dot, and then we want to say dot reverse, and we want the first one, which is 0. Alright, so that's just going to get the extension for us. I'm sorry, the MIME type. Alright, and then the next line, we're going to use write head again. So res dot write head, and we want to send 200, which means that the status is successful. All right, and we want to pass in the content type. Content type, and that's going to be the MIME type. All right. So next, we just want to create a file stream. So we're going to have a variable called file stream, and set that to the file system module. Has a method called create read stream. So create read stream, and you want to make sure that we pass in the file name. All right, and then finally we're going to say file stream dot pipe, and just pass in the response. Oh, you know what? This file name variable should have an uppercase N, so we want to make sure that we have all those the same. So that's good, that's good. All right. So back to this. So that's all set. If it's a file, it's just going to return 200. It's going to get the file. So now we want to say else if stats, what is it? Stats.is directory. So if it's a directory, what do we do? So you could do a bunch of different things. What I'm going to do is make it easy and just redirect to the index page. All right, so we want to say res dot write head. All right, and this time we're going to send a 302, which is a redirect. And what am I doing? We need to open up our curly braces and then set location. And the location is going to be index.html. All right, so that looks good. And then we're just going to end. All right, so that's if it's a directory. And then we want one final else. If it's not a file and not a directory, then we're going to just have it be a 500 internal error. So we want to do write head again. And we're going to do 500. All right, and then the content type. Whoops, I don't need to do that. Content type is text/plain. And then we'll just send some text. We'll say res dot write. Whoop, why do I keep doing that? So res dot write 500 internal error. God, I hate getting those. And then we just want to end. So res dot end. Alright, so that should be good. Or we just want to specify where to listen at the end here. So we want to say listen and then pass in the port, which will be 3000. So what it should do is serve any HTML pages that we put in the directory. So let's create a new file and call it index.html. Alright, now we used port 3000, so this is going to change right here. But first, let's go ahead and try to run it. If you have the port 1337 running, just do a Control-C to get out. Make sure you save the server file, and we should be able to say npm. I think it's npm start. Alright, so we're getting an error here. Failed Okay, so this isn't telling us much. Oh, unexpected token with catch. Oh, okay. So up here, after catch, we need to include some parentheses, and we want to pass in E. And let's see if that helps. Alright, so if you get this pop-up from your firewall, you just want to allow access. And it looks like it's running, so let's go ahead and just change this to 3000. Okay, so that's not actually. Let's just open that HTML file and just write test for now and save it. Oh, we need to actually have index.html, I believe. Alright, so that's not working. Oh, what's this? Parse url.parse. Request is not defined. Oh. Let me make this a little bigger here. Let's see. Oh, we didn't pass in our request and response variables here, or parameters. So we want request and response. And hopefully that works. Okay, so let's try that again. Alright, good. So there's our index.html file. Now the server functionality is finished, but I just want to make this look a little neater and implement our starter theme, or I'm sorry, starter template that we created. Just so we can have something to look at and make sure that the pages work. Alright, so I'm going to go to the starter template and just grab everything and paste it right in. Yeah, let's copy the, we'll overwrite the current index page that just says test. Alright, so open the index, and let's see, for the title, we'll say index page, and then down here for the navigation, let's change this to go to another page called page1.html, and we'll change this link here to page 1. Same thing here, except we're going to do page 2. And that'll go to page 2. And then for the content, let's just grab, I'm just going to grab some dummy text from lorem ipsum. Okay, generate. And we'll just copy this. Okay, and we want to put this in the container. Alright, I'm going to put a paragraph tag and then paste. And we'll end this. Actually, this is kind of long. I'm going to get rid of the last paragraph. Oops. Alright. So let's also include a heading here. We'll do an H2 and we'll say welcome to the home page. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is just copy everything here and make sure you save this file. And then I'm going to go back and create 2 more pages. Okay, we're going to create page 1 and page 2. Okay, we'll open up page 1, paste that in, and just change this up here so we know what page we're on. And we'll also change the heading. We'll say welcome to page 1. Maybe just cut some text out just to make it a little different. Alright, and then we'll copy the index again, and go to page 2. Page 2. Welcome to page 2. Cut out this text. Alright, so we'll save that, and now let's check it out. Alright, so that's our home page. If I click on page 1, brings us to page 1, page 2. Alright, so that's working how it should. And if we went to page 3, we're going to get a 404 not found. And you could actually go a step further and create your own custom 404 page and have that load when they reach a page that doesn't exist. Alright, so that does it. Very simple project. And I just want to stress that if you didn't understand some of the code in server.js, don't worry about it. You don't need to understand it at this point. It's basically what is going on under the hood when you're using something like Express, where it has its own functionality like this. Obviously a lot more advanced. But in the next project, we'll be installing Express, and we can take our focus off the actual server and onto the application and the content.